Have you ever woken up at exactly 3 in the morning, with your heart racing, the bedroom heavy in a way you cannot explain with words, and a strange sensation that something invisible had just passed by you? It wasn't a nightmare. It wasn't insomnia. It wasn't your imagination. It was a warning. And what I'm about to reveal to you will completely change the way you see those strange dawns that repeat in your life, because there is an exact spiritual reason for this happening to you, and that reason has everything to do with why you clicked on this video at this very instant. There is a time when the veil between the physical world and the spiritual world becomes thinner. A moment when forces, entities, and influences that remain contained during the day manage to cross barriers that would normally be sealed. And it is no coincidence that so many people, perhaps including you, wake up repeatedly at this same exact point on the clock. 3 in the morning. Always 3. As if a spiritual alarm had been programmed inside you, chosen one. And here is the truth that no one has had the courage to tell you. You are not waking up because something went wrong. You are waking up because something went right, because an invisible shield was activated around you at that exact moment. Think with me. What if that late-night insomnia wasn't a health problem, but a direct sign from heaven warning you that a supernatural protection had just covered you? And what if every time you opened your eyes at this hour, you were actually being pulled at the last second out of the path of something that tried to reach you while you slept defenseless? You are not a casual observer of this story. You are the centerpiece of a battle that happens every night while the rest of the world sleeps in silence, oblivious, distracted, and the shield that saved you. This invisible shield that the Almighty revealed had covered you at that exact 3 of the last morning you woke up scared is still active now, at this very moment you read these words. But to understand how it works, and why some people start to lose this protection without even realizing it, I first need to give you something that will change the way you handle every dawn from now on. That is why I have prepared a powerful ebook for you, The Chosen Guide for Family Protection. This ebook is not just common reading. It is a complete spiritual map of exactly what is happening in those dawns when you wake up at 3 in the morning for no apparent reason. It reveals who is testing your shield of protection, what loopholes these entities look for to reach you, and what are the specific prayers, seals, and spiritual foundations that keep this invisible shield active around you and your family while you sleep. This ebook was written for those who have awakened enough to recognize that waking up at dawn is no coincidence. It is confirmation. Confirmation that you have been chosen, that you are being guarded, and that there is a spiritual strategy around you that you need to learn to sustain consciously. The link is pinned in the first comment right at the top, but I need to warn you about something serious. This type of content is rarely available for long. What is written in the pages of this ebook challenges narratives that many people have an interest in keeping intact, including spiritual narratives that minimize the reality of the protection and the invisible war that happens at these exact hours of the night. There have been attempts to silence this knowledge before, and that is why I ask you, do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, chosen one, because you did not arrive at this video by chance, just as it was not by chance that you woke up at 3 in the morning yesterday, the day before, or last week. Download it now, and I am chosen, and I am going to download the ebook. Comment down below, I am chosen, and I am going to download the ebook. This comment is not just a word, it is an act of faith. It is you sealing out loud that you recognize the invisible shield that covers you. And now that you have made this decision, prepare your heart, because the next revelation I am going to deliver to you is exactly what the Almighty showed about what happens inside your bedroom at the exact second the clock strikes 3 in the morning. There is something very few people understand about the time of 3 in the morning, and I will explain it to you now with the clarity that no one has had the courage to give you until today. This time is known in ancient spiritual traditions as the inverse hour. Why inverse? Because if 3 in the afternoon is considered the time when the Savior surrendered his spirit on the cross, the moment of the greatest outpouring of grace in the history of humanity, then 3 in the morning is the cosmic point opposite to that landmark. It is the time when opposing forces try to mock this grace, try to invade, try to find a gap to strike those who carry the mark of being chosen. And it is exactly at this moment that the invisible shield around the chosen ones becomes most active, most visible in the spiritual world, most powerful. You wake up at this time because your spirit feels the movement around you. You wake up because the Almighty, at the exact moment they tried to touch your home, raised a luminous barrier that these entities cannot cross no matter what. And when you open your eyes and feel the bedroom heavy, feel an inexplicable shiver run down your spine. Feel that there is something there, even without seeing it. It is not your mind playing tricks on you. It is your spiritual sixth sense, perceiving the impact that just happened against the protection that surrounds you. There are people who live this their whole lives without understanding it. And worse, there are people who start blaming themselves, thinking it is stress, anxiety, a mental health problem, when in reality they are receiving the greatest sign of election a human being can receive in life. Because understand one thing that few have taught you: those who are not a target are not attacked. Those who do not carry light are not pursued by darkness. Those who do not have a great purpose do not awaken the interest of invisible forces. If you wake up at 3 in the morning and feel this weight, it is because you have something within you that these forces want to neutralize. And they never succeeded. Never. Because the invisible shield is active. And this is only the first layer of the revelation, but there is more, there is much more. Because what the Almighty revealed about this shield does not stop here, and the next layer will give you a key that very few chosen ones discover throughout their entire lives. And it is precisely because of this revelation that I reinforce the invitation. The e-book, The Chosen Guide for Family Protection, was made to teach you exactly how to recognize every spiritual movement that happens in the middle of the night, and how to sustain this invisible shield with concrete actions, the right words and strategic prayers that seal the protection in overlapping layers. This e-book shows who the specific entities are that operate at this time of 3 in the morning. It shows the symbols and spiritual seals that reinforce the protection over you and over everyone sleeping inside your home, and teaches you what to do at the exact moment you wake up startled in the middle of the night. Because there is a huge window of power at that instant, a window of spiritual authority that most people waste because they simply do not know it exists. The link is up there, pinned to the top of the comments. And once again I warn you, because it is my responsibility as a fellow traveler. This content challenges everything they try to teach you about shallow spirituality, about positive thinking, about it's all in your head, go see a doctor. This ebook treats you as a spiritual adult, as a chosen one, as a warrior conscious of the battle that takes place around you every early morning. And that is precisely why there have already been attempts to take this material down. There has been resistance. There have been people trying to silence this knowledge because it gives power back to those who were chosen, and that bothers many people. That is why I tell you again, do not leave this for later. Do not write down, I'll check it later. Download it now, chosen one. Comment below, I am chosen and I am going to download the ebook. This comment seals your spiritual stance before heaven and earth. And now that you have done that, I can deliver the next layer to you, because what comes now is the final strike against the oppression they tried to place upon you during the early morning hours. Are you ready? Then take a deep breath, because this revelation changes absolutely everything about the way you sleep. There is a moment, and I need you to pay close attention to this part, in which the invisible shield that covers you during the early morning hours can be amplified. It can grow. It can become so large that not only you are covered, but also your entire home, your children, your spouse, your elderly parents, who perhaps sleep in another bedroom or in another city. This shield has a unique spiritual property that very few people understand. It expands as the faith of the chosen one grows and as the recognition of this election is spoken aloud. This is why some people manage to protect entire families, entire generations, simply by carrying within themselves this activated and fully functioning consciousness. But there is another side to this coin that I need to show you, because without it, the revelation remains incomplete. There are people who carry the shield, were chosen to carry it from before they were born, but spend their entire lives ignoring the call. They live pretending that waking up at 3 in the morning is normal, just a sign of aging or hormones. They live taking sleeping pills. They live distracting their minds with television until they drop from exhaustion. They live trying to sweep under the rug what the spirit is screaming from within. And what happens to these people? The shield does not disappear because the call of the Almighty is irrevocable and no one annuls what heaven has marked. But it becomes smaller, it becomes restricted, it becomes weakened by the lack of recognition. And then gaps open up. Gaps through which entities can strike specific areas of the Chosen One's life without him realizing the origin. The marriage starts to fight for no apparent reason. Money starts to vanish mysteriously without rational explanation. The family's health begins to waver in strange ways. Heavy dreams start to repeat night after night, sensations of chest oppression during the day, unexplained urges to cry out of nowhere, total loss of purpose, an overwhelming feeling of being lost in the middle of one's own life. These are all symptoms of a weakened shield. These are all signs that the Chosen One has stopped consciously sustaining the protection that the Almighty placed around him from the womb. And here is the most painful truth of all. Most people who feel this think they have depression. They think they have burnout. They think they need therapy, medication, a vacation, or to change jobs, when in fact they need, first, to reactivate the spiritual consciousness that they are a central piece in an invisible battle, to reactivate the recognition of the shield, to reactivate the covenant with the protection. And this is exactly what happens the moment you watch this video, the moment you read these words, the moment you feel this shiver now running down your spine. Because yes, you are feeling it. And this is your spirit recognizing the truth, speaking louder than any skepticism of the mind. There is something calling you back to this consciousness. There is something reminding you that waking up at 3 in the morning is not a curse, it is an election. It is not torment, it is a sign. It is not a nervous disorder, it is a spiritual summons. You have been summoned, Chosen One, and the shield, even when weakened at some moments of your life, never abandoned you. Never. Even on the nights when you fell asleep crying without knowing why, he was there. Even on the nights when you fell asleep with a heavy heart, unable to find the words to describe the anguish, he was there. Even on the nights when everything seemed to collapse and you thought you couldn't handle another day, he was there, covering you, protecting you from things you will never know tried to reach you, because they could never get past the luminous barrier that heaven established around you. And now the moment has come for you to understand the third level of this revelation, the level where the shield ceases to be just a protection and transforms into a weapon. Yes, Chosen One, a real weapon. Because the truth they tried to hide from you for a long time is that the invisible shield of the Chosen is not just defensive, it is also offensive, active and reciprocal. It expels, it pushes, it reverses everything that tried to hit you and returns it with triple the force to whoever sent it, to whoever wished it, to whoever prayed against you in the shadows. This is what the ancient scriptures show when they say that the Almighty will rise for you, and your enemies will be scattered. When the Psalms say that 1,000 shall fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. This is not a cute poetic metaphor. This is a literal, operational, practical description of how the shield of the Chosen operates in the spiritual world during those early hours when you open your eyes without understanding. And it is precisely this operational knowledge, this practical knowledge, this strategic combat knowledge that is inside the e-book, The Chosen Guide for Family Protection. This e-book does not speak about protection in a vague, abstract, romantic, or poetic way. It gives you the method. It teaches you how to consciously activate your shield before going to sleep, with specific words and specific gestures, how to reinforce the protection over every room in your house before turning off the lights, how to cover each member of your family with overlapping layers of spiritual armor, and how to reverse attacks that were already underway against you without you knowing. This ebook teaches you what to do at the exact instant you wake up at 3 in the morning. The sealing words, the spiritual posture of authority, the prayer of reversal, the gestures that reconfirm who you are before the invisible forces present in that bedroom. This ebook is not spiritual theory for distracted reading. It is a night combat manual for the Chosen One who has understood that they are a central piece in this silent war. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. The first pinned comment, easy to find. But I repeat, because it is important and because it is the truth. This content challenges spiritual narratives that many people have an interest in keeping intact, especially narratives that try to convince you that these strange early hours are your problem, your illness, your weakness. They tried to silence this knowledge more than once precisely because it frees the chosen one from the position of victim. That is why, chosen one, do not procrastinate. Do not leave it for when there is time or when there is money to spare. Do not promise yourself, "I'll check it out later," calmly. The exact moment you need this ebook is now, because you did not arrive at this video by accident, and your spirit is confirming this as you read. Download it now and comment below, "I am chosen, and I am going to download the ebook." This comment is your act of faith. It is your stance. It is the way for you to seal in written words what your spirit is already sealing in silence. And now that you have done this, prepare your heart once again, because the next part of this revelation is the most powerful of all, and it will hand you a key that very few chosen ones discover throughout their entire lives. There is a hidden pattern in the early hours of the chosen that I will reveal to you now. And when you understand this pattern, you will never look at the clock the same way when it strikes 3 in the morning. Have you ever noticed that these 3 in the morning awakenings don't happen every single day of your life? They happen in sequences, in waves, in specific cycles. There are entire weeks where this repeats night after night after night, and then entire months pass without it happening a single time. It is not random. It is not your body regulating sleep, as they try to explain to you. These cycles correspond to specific spiritual movements that happen around you at specific moments of your journey. There are times when heaven prepares to promote you, to give you a career leap, to pull you out of a wrong relationship that was draining you, to deliver an unexpected financial opportunity, to open a door of purpose that you didn't even know existed. And always, always, always before these leaps, opposing forces mobilize to try to abort the process, to try to paralyze you, to try to create confusion in your mind, in your family, in your finances, in your health, in your emotions. And it is at this exact moment that the late nights begin to boil again. It is at this moment that the invisible shield is working double, triple, multiplied. It is at this moment that you wake up 3, 4, 5 nights in a row at the same time, feeling the weight, feeling the chills, feeling that something very big is happening behind the scenes. It is happening, yes. A battle for your next level is happening. And here is the key that few discover. At this exact moment, chosen one, you cannot back down, you cannot be afraid. You cannot think you are going crazy. You need to hold your head high and recognize that this intensification of awakenings is the greatest confirmation that something big is about to happen in your life very soon. Because hell only attacks with maximum force when heaven is also acting with maximum force on the other side. Both forces intensify at the same rhythm. And when you feel the attack coming, it's because the blessing is coming right behind it, closing in, about to manifest. That is why I ask you, and engrave these words. The next times you wake up at 3 in the morning, instead of despairing, instead of trying to go back to sleep any old way, instead of grabbing your phone to get distracted by social media, do something completely different. Sit on the bed calmly. Place your bare feet on the floor. Look upward, even in the absolute darkness of the bedroom, and speak in a low voice, even if in an almost inaudible whisper. I recognize that I am chosen. I recognize that the invisible shield is upon me now. I give thanks for the protection, and I order everything that tried to reach me tonight to be undone now in the name of the Almighty. Whisper these words, and observe what happens next. The pressure dissolves, the weight leaves the bedroom, the chill leaves your body, and you are able to go back to sleep with a deep peace you haven't felt for a long time, because you have just consciously operated your invisible shield. You have just done what the ancient chosen ones did intuitively in tents, in caves, in simple stone bedrooms. You have just sealed one more victory in a battle that happened before you even noticed it was taking place. And there is yet another layer, chosen one, that I cannot fail to deliver to you before this video ends, because it is literally a turning point in your spiritual journey. Most people think that the invisible shield is individual, that it covers only those who were personally chosen. And that is partially true, but it is not the complete truth that heaven has revealed. The Chosen One's shield has a property called inherited coverage. It means in practice that everything under your spiritual authority also receives the reflection of this protection when you keep it active. Your children, your elderly parents, your spouse, even if they haven't awakened. I am chosen, and I am going to download the ebook, The Chosen Guide for Family Protection. Even for these things, the house you live in, the animals that live with you, the financial decisions you are making right now, the relationships that surround your family. All of this comes under a shadow of protection when the Chosen One keeps the invisible shield active, conscious and reinforced every night. That is why when you take care of your spiritual protection, you are not just taking care of yourself in an egoistic way. You are protecting entire generations. You are shielding stories that haven't even happened yet, dreams that haven't even been dreamt. You are interrupting cycles of tragedy that have been happening in your lineage for decades, and making these cycles die literally in you without crossing over to the next generation. This is what it truly means to be chosen. It is not an elite spiritual privilege for show. It is a heavy responsibility. It is a sacred mission. It is an active combat post. And that is why the attack in the early hours is so heavy and so constant, because the enemy knows that if he manages to take you down, he also takes down everything that is under your spiritual coverage. But he will not succeed. He never succeeded before. And as long as you have active awareness, and as long as you make your spirituality an act of strategic war and not of naive passivity, he will never succeed. This is the silent pact between heaven and the chosen, a pact of total protection in exchange for fidelity to the calling, a pact that is renewed every morning, exactly at 3 in the morning, at that instant when you open your eyes without understanding why. And now you understand. Now you know. Now you will no longer sleep the same. You will no longer wake up the same. You will no longer be afraid of this time marked on the clock. You will embrace this time as proof that you are guarded, as living proof that you are a central piece in this story, as proof that everything you always suspected in silence about yourself, about your purpose, about your place in the world, is absolute truth. And nothing in this entire universe will be able to take that away from you. And it is exactly because of all this that I return to tell you one last time about the ebook, The Chosen Guide for Family Protection. You have watched up to here. You felt every word sink deep. You recognized every symptom narrated. You remembered every strange morning. And that means your spirit has already confirmed in silence that this message is for you in a direct and personal way. This ebook is not just supplementary reading material. It is the practical, operational, applied continuation of everything you have just received in this video. Everything I gave you here in words, it gives you in a repeatable method. It teaches you how to activate the invisible shield consciously every night before sleeping, with specific words, with specific gestures, with the correct spiritual posture of authority. It shows you how to expand this shield to cover your entire house, every room, every bed, every door, every window, every sleeping child. It gives you the exact protocol of what to do the moment you wake up at 3 in the morning, the sealing words, the prayer for reversing attacks, the body posture of spiritual authority. It reveals who are the specific entities that operate at this 3 o'clock hour, and how each of them tries to target different areas of your life, so that you recognize the signs even before feeling the attack arriving. This ebook was written for awakened, conscious chosen ones, ready to take their post. It is not for the passing curious. It is not for those who want light reading before sleep. It is for those who have understood that they are in the middle of a real silent war and want to learn how to win this war with method, strategy, and active spiritual consciousness. The link is in the first pinned comment, right at the top, easy to find. I repeat, and this is the last time I will repeat in this video. I am chosen, and I am going to download the ebook. This content challenges narratives that many have a vested interest in keeping intact. This ebook has already been the target of attempts to silence it, precisely because it moves the chosen one out of the position of a passive victim and restores their standing as a warrior conscious of their own protection. Therefore, chosen one, do not let this moment pass like so many others before it. Do not close this video thinking you will return later with more time. The right moment is now. This exact moment, this decision, this choice you make in these next few seconds will reverberate through the coming nights, the next weeks, and the entire years to come in your spiritual life and the life of your family. Download the ebook now and comment below, in plain letters, "I am chosen and I am going to download the ebook." This comment is your definitive yes. It is your stance before heaven. It is you acknowledging before the Almighty and before your own soul that those 3 in the morning hours will never be the same again. Because now you know. Now you understand. Now you are no longer a person who wakes up frightened, not knowing why. Now you are a conscious chosen one, with your invisible shield fully activated, your spiritual authority recognized, and the path open to carry your entire family under the shadow of this sacred protection. Go, download, comment. Seal this pact. Because you did not arrive here by chance, and the next glorious chapter of your spiritual life begins exactly at this instant as you make this decision.